Hey amigos, as you know, I just bought a Cummins Dodge diesel pickup, which is electromagnetic pulse proof, and it should provide services as an excellent bug out vehicle. And it will, it should be EMP proof, and it's four-wheel drive. It's got off-road tires. I mean, it should be able to get me where I need to go. So anyway, I was thinking, what good is a bug out vehicle if somebody steals it? So I thought I would add an extra layer of security to the vehicle. That's a really simple circuit. Now this is something I made myself, so thieves who are educated in various models of alarm systems and how to disconnect them and stuff might just scratch their head a little bit on this one. And basically this is what happens. They'll use their thief bar to break in, and then they'll get inside, pry the ignition switch out, I guess that's how they do it, then crank it. It'll crank and crank and crank and it won't start. And the reason why is because I have a little hidden switch that you can flip, and I won't tell you where it is, but basically if it's flipped, then you can start the engine. But if it's not flipped, of course the engine will not start. The whole circuit is based, the heart of the circuit is the Bosch relay. Anybody who is a halfway shade tree mechanic or a mechanic, they will know, basically about these relays because they are everywhere. Here's a quick rundown on how the relay works. What happens is it's a switch, basically. Power goes in here, and then it's always connected to this center post, unless of course the field is activated. Now generally it's connected from here to here, but if you put power here, 12 volts usually, unless you have a 24 volt relay, but you're going to have 12 volts probably. Anyway, power in here, ground here, power flows through the field, pulls a little switch down because it's an electromagnetic, and that switches power, or the connection, from here to the top one here. So basically it just flips this switch on, and at the same time flips this one here off. So anyway, that is how the Bosch relay works. Now let me give you a diagram to show you how to wire this thing into your car. Now this is just how I did it. You can of course wire it up in a different way. I hooked mine to the fuel shutoff solenoid power supply, but you could hook it up to the starter relay, the starter solenoid on the starter. But anyway, there's a lot of different options. Here is here's the middle pin. Here is the top pin. This is normally on, this is normally off. Then you have the power supply pin. And then let's draw the whole relay. Pardon my lack of art. Here is the field wire, or the field connection. That's the second one. What happens is you have the fuel shutoff power right here, and generally it goes from the fuse box to the through the ignition switch to the fuel shutoff solenoid. But what I did was I just chopped it right here, and then I took this and I ran it, the power to the fuel shutoff solenoid. I ran it straight to the supply pin there, and then I took the load side of the fuel shutoff solenoid, stuck it up to the normally off pin, and then I took power from my fuse box through an accessory which I won't tell you about, and I ran it from the fuse box to the supply side of the field on the Bosch relay, and then I took the negative side here and ran it to my secret switch. Tell you what, let me get you a little closer here. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, and then, so the result is when, okay, the power goes there, so they're basically cranking it, right? And but unless they have the secret switch activated, the power will just be connected from here to here and go nowhere. But here, basically, if this is activated, this will switch to that, or these two will be connected, and then basically power will flow from the ignition system through the relay to the fuel shutoff solenoid, and the vehicle will start. Now, there's another option that I'm thinking about doing, and that would be to take a wire and go straight to ground. This is the universal symbol for ground if you're a mechanic. And basically, that way, if they crank the engine, power goes from here to the supply, and if the switch is off, and it goes straight to ground and then blows the fuse, right? And then the thief will be saying, "What a piece of junk, it's blowing fuses." Or he will either replace the fuse and then find the switch and then run off with your vehicle. Now, another better way to do it is to take power here and then just cut this line right here, just chop it right there, and then add a fuse of your own and hide it up in the harness somewhere. This is just a standard spade fuse connector. And then take this power supply and just bump the fuse up like 1 or 2 amps and put the standard amperage rating here. And that way, if they crank it with the switch off, power will flow from here through your fuse, from here straight to the normally off side, down to ground, and it'll blow your fuse because its rating is lower than the rating that's actually in the fuse box. Then the fuse will blow, and it will not it'll not start, and no fuse will be blown in the fuse box, and the thief will throw up his arms and swear at you, and then go find and steal somebody else's truck. Now, another idea, if you have a car and you don't have a fuel shutoff solenoid relay, you can use if it's an older car, you can use the ignition coil power supply, or you can use any number of things that will interrupt the operation of the engine and just run it right through there. You might even be able to use a sensor circuit like cam speed or anything like that. But those have backups. I wouldn't use that. Fuel pumps are always a good option. Now, you could also use the starter solenoid power supply, and instead of just not starting, it just wouldn't even crank, right? Then, of course, your fuse would blow, or your fuse would blow, and it would never start, and the thief would either have to tow it away, or he would have to try to troubleshoot it and figure it out. And generally, thieves are not really good mechanics, except for maybe the real serious chop shop people. Those people might know something about how to be a mechanic, but the losers who run around and break into cars to just run it around and joyride or whatever, they're not good mechanics. So that is my circuit, and I've already installed it in my Dodge pickup. I think I'll also install a similar version of this in my sedan, my everyday commuter vehicle, and that way the Dodge pickup will be sitting there, fueled to the rim, and totally ready to be put into action to haul it around here, load up my supplies, and get the hell out of town if I have to. But basically, if somebody steals it, I won't have the truck. So that's why I'm adding this little circuit. I'm also adding a second circuit later on. I'll describe it in the future. And the result is I'll keep my truck. Okay, later.